Good day and welcome back to my channel. So here we are, calling this one 99% done. As I look at it, there are a couple of things that I do want to go back and just touch up. A couple of lights I missed, things like that. And I think that's a couple of little nicks and stuff that I see various places, and I'm sort of catching this as I go through. But for the most part, I'm calling this one pretty much finished. I've sort of wound down to the end, and I've gotten her where I'm pretty much going to get her. So yeah, let's talk about her for a minute. So this was, sort of the overall look I was going for, which I think we got. The aircraft itself, right, is nice. So the F-14 is a great aircraft. I love it. I struggle personally because it sort of mucks with my aesthetic, and I'm really not sure how best to put that. The F4 that I did has that three-tone camo that I like. I aesthetically like the look of the gray of this type of a aircraft, or this type of a subject. It's very difficult for me to see to see the as the object. And I know a good bit of it is my technique, which is, again, the whole reason I did this was specifically to work on technique. And some of the techniques worked and some didn't. So, I'll kind of talk about those. But this is the model as it is. Now, as is typical with a model like this, it is more than a little bit fragile. But I will sort of show here what we have, and then I'll put up pictures here at the end. So underneath, and yes, the ordnance is not entirely accurate. It's kind of close to what was in the movie. Like the FLIR pod is should have a sparrow on it, but for the most part it's similar to what was in the movie Final Countdown. The overall seam work and work of the weathering was okay. I'm sort of okay with this. So like the tail vanes especially, right? I was using my oil paints to do all of the weathering. I really, really, really am not a fan of pre-shading, and not because pre-shading doesn't work, but because I don't get it to work well. By the time I get done putting the next base coat on, it's really lost, and it's a lot of extra effort that I personally see. I feel I'm more effective working with oil-based paints in the final stages. It's just my techniques, they look better to me. Does that mean I don't knock the technique? It's just I haven't been able to get it to work yet. I expect that the next grayish aircraft that I do is likely to have it. I believe I have a Harrier 8 or Harrier jump jet up on my to-do list, and that one I'm going to try pre-shading again and see if maybe a little bit lighter final coat of gray. Maybe I can get a little bit lighter of a final coat of gray. There we go, out of my airbrush than I've been able to in the past. The other thing about this is the ordnance is very touchy, right? So the if you bump them, they tend to come off. Like the pitot tubes and the antenna and things like that, they're all like really, really flimsy. So I always do those last. Let's talk about the model. Now this entire video series has been basically a big whine and gripe fest about Tamiya. So I'm not going to belabor that. I'm going to talk about where we are and what this kit came out as. You can get a decent product. This is decent. And again, a lot of the negative that you see in front of me is my technique. And this is sort of a not sort of, this is a not practice, but an experiment, right? Every kit that I do, I want to learn something. And this one I learned some different techniques on how to do some weathering. Again, I do have the wings folded in. I do have them so they'll fold out. I also did do the weathering in underneath. So, if you look at F-14s when the wings are expanded, they have those marks from grinding back and forth. This takes up a lot of room. It's huge. So it'll be displayed with the wings folded back. Transfers wise, the transfers that I got from Cam Details, right? That's these guys here. Fantastic transfers, with the caveat that they do sort of flake up a bit. They break. So they're very fragile, so treat them well, right? Work quickly, work with warm water. Don't let them sit. Don't let them get a chance to just sit around. If you treat them well, they come out okay. The transfers that were with the Tamiya kit, I'm very much not a fan of. They are all on the ordnance pods, which I've shown already in a previous video. They work, but I'm not a fan of how well they work. They're very difficult to get off of the sheet, but they're okay. They do the job. With that said, the cockpit, and I'm going to modify the lighting here. Let's see if I can get the lights here to do what I want them to do. But remember, I did the cockpit with using the transfers, and overall, there. I'm moderately content with the result. If I were to do this with the cockpit canopy open, it probably wouldn't pass muster. However, the fact that you're looking through the canopy, it does. And as you can see, yes, I do not have the lightning strips down here. Those are on my list of things I need to go back to do. But overall, I actually, if the canopy's down, it really doesn't look that bad. And given, the amount of effort involved in doing aftermarket, again, if you do it canopy down, is it worth it? Right? Is the amount of work and effort that you're going to put into it worth it? From my perspective, I don't think so. If you're going to do aftermarket and go through all that detail, might as well get the canopy put up, right? At which point you want to do the details underneath there too. The kit. Not a lot of F-14s in 1/32 scale. So for all of the faults and foibles and all of the things that aren't accurate or correct, it's more correct than no model at all. Right? I believe there is a trumpeter kit out there, and perhaps at some point in the future I may go do that one. I may try that one, because I do love the F-14. I really do. I love the look of it, even if I'm not an F-14 expert on everything. So for those who love, adore, appreciate the F-14, this kit is nice. It gives you a good basis to work from, and your accurizing that you need to do is workable, right? It is something that if you are really focused on the F-14 and what it is and all of the details and the micro details for it, it is a decent basis to work from or to work on. With that said, if you really are into the details up for it, I expect you will be frustrated quickly. Oops, and of course that's one of the reasons I don't like to do these things. Okay, I'm good. So if you are again, like I said, if you are an expert for this subject, you are likely to become fairly frustrated with the kit simply because of the accuracy issues. they're workable, right? And I mean, so I talked about the landing gear. I talked about the other things that you can accurize and make this thing look good with. But you have to do some research for this, and you have to work at it. You have to put the effort in to understand what are the things that need to be fixed and adapted to. So read your instruction kit, look at what's needed, and go to town. I think with that said, that's the majority of what I have to say about this model. I am content, and content is really the right word. I love this subject. I really do. I love the look of the F-14. She's a mean looking, growly of a bird, right? She just reeks of power, and that's one of the nice things about her. I've always loved this subject, and now I have one on my shelf. I had one when I was like 12, and I think it was probably the same darn kit. Yeah. I really don't have much more to say other than there we go. And again, for all of you who are F-14 experts and can see all the differences and inaccuracies and the maybe not quite so good results of the work I've done, my apologies. Again, this was me practicing, and I'm not super accurate with this. I do recognize that, but for my eye, it will work. It will sit next to my F4 and look nice on my shelf. And I think for any one of you who are that focused on it, you have a nice canvas here to work with. So I would not dissuade folks from this kit, with the caveat that I spent so much time jumping around and trying to fix the things that needed to be on, because the assemblies are not in a good order. The assemblies do not allow you to comfortably pre-assemble the kit and prep the kit and put it together in a way that you can paint, assemble. It's kind of like put it together and paint it, and it's very, very difficult. Or you're doing a lot of painting on the screw, but the sub-assemblies are not really the best in order from my perspective, but you can do it. With that said, I will go ahead and put up I'll take a few photographs of this with a little bit of a nicer background, and hope you enjoyed. Hope you like it. Thank you very much for watching. Again, feel free to offer up any suggestions for technique. Again, this was all mostly oil base, shading and weathering and so forth. I also struggled with future, but that's a different topic. Yeah, there we go again. I will go ahead and put up some pictures. I hope you find this series interesting. If you like F-14s, if any of y'all have done one up, I'd love to see them. Please feel free to put them in the comments below. And until next time, happy modeling.